Okay. All right, welcome to session 1, Ghost of Saltmarsh. Yay! Everybody's awake?
Yay!
Yay!
Mm,
Meh. Okay.
Yay!
All right, so...
Woo.
Oh, right. I'm gonna turn you
Oh
down a
god.
little bit. I think I had you cranked up last time, but... Okay, so... Guys, find yourselves in the town of Saltmarsh after a thing happened. So you guys came from various parts of the Sword Coast, for the most part. Some of you sea, some of you not from the sea. Um, I'm gonna have you guys talk a little bit about kind of your characters, and then we had a little bit of a prompt. I'm hoping that most of you guys kind of read or looked over at least. It was posted in the RP chat about your little incident that you had that brought you guys together as a group and then roughly apart. Um, So let's just go straight down the line. Tell me a little bit about your character, kind of what they look like, and then we'll go into what that incident was. We'll start with, not mess this up, Samel? Samuel?
Yeah, Samil.
Samel, cool. Okay.
uh, well, I guess describing what she looks like first. Samil is lighter red tiefling. She is normally wearing a. Sorry, brain is not working quite yet. Uh, Normally wearing a dark cloak, mostly trying to cover her face and her bat-like wings that spread from her back. She's very quiet, very subdued, and very much in love with potions and the creation of such. Uh, I'm not sure what else I should do to describe her at this point.
Okay, you feel free to talk about it, like, how she saw Salt Marsh as a good place to stop. What about your background maybe brought you to a coastal town like this?
Right, right. Uh, she's definitely from more of the inland, so she wanted to try and find more unique and interesting herbs and ingredients to use in her potion creations and to basically test out new and hopefully unseen effects of such unique and exotic ingredients. Saltmarsh just happened to be the closest town to the sea that from where she came from.
All right, yeah, you definitely smelt some interesting ingredients this way. Okay, cool. Tobias.
Yes. So, as described previously, Tobias is a human male, 6 foot tall, black hair, emerald green eyes. Plays music. Definitely seems to get a little, I guess you could say, annoyed, irritated whenever people aren't really fully paying attention to him. I think as far as the prompt is concerned about the incident, he probably would have been playing some lively music, something maybe not quite fully appropriate for the tours, something a little more jovial to draw a little more attention towards him. Um, but definitely internally annoyed that people aren't paying attention to him while Cabby does his whole spiels on the tours.
Right.
Kind of came to Saltmarsh, well, really looking to travel.
And travel you shall. Yes, thank you, Casey, for posting in Twitch chat. This is not normally how Tobias sounds. He's suffering from a throat issue, but he'll be back to his regular singing voice soon. if he sings.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Okay, cool. So then we've got Merketta.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us a little bit about what your character looks like and what maybe brought you to Saltmarsh succinctly, and then we'll go into the incident.
So Merketta is 3'1", has wild curly dark hair, is very deeply tan, and always has kind of a not gruff but like impenetrable demeanor about her. If she's not actively being spoken to, she's either thinking about working on something or actually working on that thing. What brought her to Saltmarsh is basically just circumstance. She's a trained shipwright. She's just been on ship to ship to ship to ship, and it just brought her here. The last voyage, I'm not sure if we determined where it sailed from, but she's been on vessel after vessel after vessel, just trying to do her thing and get through the world the way she wants to. In terms of the incident, I would say working with a water genasi who knows the waters, Marketa would be like, okay, if you can guide us through these conditions, I can do this to the boat to make it go the fastest these motherfuckers have ever seen.
All right. And we'll get into Ryu's opinions on maybe how she can help that. Go into her describing her intro to her character. Ryu, what brings you here? What do you look like again? Seaweed hair?
Yep. So is my push talk? Okay, my push talk is working. My bad. So Ryu has dark green seaweed hair. She's vaguely humanoid, but she's pretty tall. She's like 5'11-ish. And she has blue skin, so stands out for most places. She's got like just a little bit of leather armor on her upper half. And other than that, she likes to stay pretty lightweight on all of her gear so that she can dive into the water whenever. But she was brought to Saltmarsh because that was one of her last voyages with her father, who was a fisherman. And they had discussed previously that their time working on his fishing vessel would be coming to a close. So Ryu is kind of looking for, or was looking for, what is next? How can I get beyond the waters that I've fished my entire life?
All right. And then last but not least, Cabby. What are we looking at?
Hey, so Cabby is a Warforged, so he is a being of wood and metal. He's got sort of a constantly smiling visage, sort of baked in to his facial expressions, and overall he gives the appearance of being constructed mainly of tin or another inexpensive metal and leather, because that is the armor that has been integrated into his form, though if one were to peel back, you might see some more expensive bits underneath, but he keeps that mostly covered up. For the last few years, he's been working with a gnome who found him some time ago and has helped him build up a reputation as Cabby, the mechanical cabin boy, the tool that you need for all your voyaging and so on. Doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, doesn't take up much room. Is great for serving both male and female, as he has no donk donk, etc. And that's kind of where he's been for a while. And on this expedition, he was upgraded to sort of a tour guide situation. So he has lots of wonderful advice to give.
Yeah, so this situation that we've referenced a few times, you guys all, for various reasons, were found wandering near or around Saltmarsh looking for some work. Um, all of you having some level of experience either entertaining or fishing or being around water or fixing things, boats, whatnot. Saltmarsh seemed like a natural step for you. Heard being near Armenian lands, the Coin Lords have been investing some money in the city of Saltmarsh and attracting some other kinds of, perhaps not that well branded, not yet marketable companies. One of those being the Coastline Cruisers Boat Tours Company, newly founded in Saltmarsh, looking to hire on some employees to run their boat tours. And all of you found yourselves making your way onto that boat, onto that employee plan, even though the benefits weren't that great. And yeah, Cabby, you found yourself. They thought that you projected very well. They liked that lovely, hollow, tinny sound of voice, and you seem to know a lot about Saltmarsh, and they couldn't really verify whether it was the truth or not, so it sounded good. You ended up being the tour guide, and they hired Tobias and Samel as kind of an entertaining package. Samel, you had some interesting looking potions probably hanging on your belt or in your pouches, and you sold yourself pretty well on making a certain special kind of cocktail or something to entertain the guests or maybe make them feel better. Tobias, you I mean, you brought yourself to sell, and I think that's probably your favorite thing to do, is trying to sell yourself as a mood setter of the cruise. And then Merketta and Ryu, you found yourselves tasked with trying to get the most bang for their buck. So we'll just go kind of one by one. Samel and Tobias, we'll go with you first. Samel, what do you think your special like cocktail or potion or what did you serve to the guests to make them either enjoy themselves more or relax more?
What I was thinking is she had made what I'm just gonna be calling a potion of Farsight, allowing them to see further off, see the islands without the boat needing to get so close, kind of like a spyglass, but just as a potion, so they can see further without needing to get closer, cutting the time of the cruise down, so letting us get more cruises in.
Got it. So all them fast cruises they could see really far from the boat going super fast. You got it. What did that kind of look like? Did you do anything special to serve it up? What color did the potion end up being?
uh let's I think she wouldn't do anything like she'd be very private about making the potion or preparing them beforehand and then just handing them out whenever people paid for them. But I
Oh,
think they'd be more of a clear-ish liquid, just a kind of cloudy silvery look to them.
okay, cool. And cool. So you got a nice clear, maybe even a cloudy look to you as you hand out your drinks and tell the tales just for a few coins. You can see the island, see the details, see all the nooks and crannies of the coast along the Saltmarsh. So they ate that shit up. There wasn't a single person that didn't buy in. Maybe you had a little cart in the back as you were making them. Maybe some people had more than one. They wanted to see extra good. Um, and whether or not that was recommended, maybe they were putting on little disguises to trick you. They're like one per customer, but maybe some had a couple. They were feeling pretty good that day. Tobias, as well as you're able to, given your internet issues, what really set the scene? You said you were playing a jovial tune, something upbeat, maybe?
Stuff that would be upbeat. He would have like, curated a set that would have lasted the duration of the tour, whether that had been one extended song or multiple shorter songs. But put something in that would keep the mood a little brighter.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe you worked with Cabby a little bit and said, if you got any dramatic points, I've got this one note that I'd love to hit anytime. Anytime you got it, just, give me a wink. But I'm thinking, Tobias, that throughout the time you curated this music, made it special for the tour, but I mean, Merketta and Ryu, you guys just kept trimming and trimming the time that the tour was taking, and that was what you were supposed to do. The faster you go, the more money you make, but Tobias had to adjust the tempo of his music, and perhaps that affected Cabby's overview. But still, Tobias, you entertained the people as they were riding around. They definitely felt all the feelings of Saltmarsh and enjoyed kind of bopping in their seats to Tobias's music, even if it got a little quick. On the quick note, let's talk to Ryu and Merketta. So Merketta, you're known for being able to make I mean, you have the goal of the fastest boat alive will be made by you one day. And Ryu, you have spent a lot of your time on the waters. You know the waters well. The waters seem to be almost a part of you. What did you two do to kind of work together to make the boat go as fast as possible?
So I was thinking, Ryu knows the water very well. She can kind of listen to what the water is going to do that day. So in addition to knowing the shortcuts through the waters, maybe being able to navigate through more dangerous sections that most people wouldn't, I feel like she would have kind of an even better idea on the weather. Like a lot of the people in the Saltmarsh area know when a storm is coming in, but Ryu can kind of hone in on that a little bit more, and she would probably direct the tours to kind of go out, cutting it pretty close, like a lot closer than a lot of other tour companies might. But yeah, and then sometimes just for fun, she likes to talk to the local wildlife and kind of encourage them to come up to the boat, show off for the guests a little bit before they go.
That sounds awesome. Marketa, you're usually very careful about, safety, I'm sure, as well as speed. But Ryu was able to navigate, direct you how to navigate through some of the most dangerous parts. Did that present any problems for you for making the boat move a little faster?
No, it was good navigation. I would not have. I would have been. What's the word I'm looking for? I would have been impressed with Ryu's navigation skills. I can. Ryu can. I'm sorry. Marketa can work very well under pressure, and she expects that of other people. Ryu absolutely delivered, and Marketa is very happy with her.
So this might have been the first real interaction that you two had. Marketa, you might have spent a day or two in town prior to kind of learning where the ships get built and things like that. But by the time you got on this ship, Merketta and Ryu, you guys made up this seamless team of just running around behind the scenes as Samel and Tobias are entertaining. You guys are kind of running around, and Merketta, you're like, no, pull that, no, go over here, directing what small crew is on there besides you to make the ship kind of glide through the water. And Ryu, you're kind of leaning over the boat, whispering sweet nothings to the animals to make them, travel alongside the boat all epically, and just kind of watching the weather and watching all the signs, almost like a wind whisperer. But you guys are keeping things moving as quickly as possible. Cabby, as all this is going on and your companions are running around behind the scenes to create this epic journey for these guests, what are you showing them or telling them about the coast?
Oh, well, so Cabby's kind of wound himself up, and he's very excited, and he's trying to keep up with all the stuff going by. So he's just barely gotten into the explanation of how the boat moves through the water, and how tacking works, and he's a keeled boat, and we're using gravity boosts from the streams that are flowing into the marsh and such things. And then he's pointing out very quickly, oh, and if you pay attention just there, you can see where the swanbirds are, and the swanbirds are actually a little bit rare at this time of year. Now, if you wish to feed the swanbirds, we do have crumbs available, and if you wish to throw stones at the stonebirds, we do have stones available. Please, no throwing unapproved foods or unapproved stones at the swanbirds. And basically, as they're zipping along, um, if you can imagine the worst and most catastrophic environmental effects that could possibly be given as advice to a group of tourists, that's what he's doing. So as they go by, like, oh, and you'll notice where wind has eroded that standing stone. That standing stone is estimated to weigh over 400 tons. Would anyone like to buy stones to throw at the standing stone? You might get lucky and knock it down this time. Ha ha!
Right.
Please feel free to make your mark as we go past this particular cliff face. As you can see, wonderful reviews from our last tour.
All right. So Cabby is speaking a mile a minute, almost auctioneer levels of speed, and he's gathered some notes that he's been able to hear in town. He's noticed some landmarks that he decided to point out, and all of you got on this boat with, how do I make more money? Tobias and Samel probably had tip jars for their drinks and revelries and music. Cabby wanted in on that too. Cabby decided to have a small pile of rocks next to him, and 1 silver a rock, make your mark. Trying to sell that in addition to keep up with the speed that Merketta and Ryu were doing. Your speech had to have sped up over and over and over again. And as the tours go on, the first couple are relatively uneventful. The tourists that are entering into town are looking for something exactly like this. So it's easy money for you all, but it takes too long. And so as Marketa and Ryu are kind of working to make the tours faster, all of you are trying to accommodate with your various refreshments and entertaining. But as time goes on, the faster the boat goes, the tour starts to kind of take a bad turn. It's small at first, but at a certain point, Merketta and Ryu, you guys just perhaps were on different sides of the boat, or one of the crew members wasn't quite listening to you, Merketta. You're not sure if they started partaking of the meal's potions or what, and got distracted by something far off, but they didn't do what you were saying, and they took a turn too sharp, and the last boat tour that you guys had, whole plan just didn't work well. Cabby, you were handing out rocks, and this group in particular seemed to have partaken of a number of Samel's drinks. You hear as the boat was whipping back and forth, tinkles of glasses rolling along the bottom of the boat, empty, falling over. But they all also purchased your rocks. You notice some of the younger ones kind of throwing the rocks back and forth, denting parts of the boat. You also notice them whipping the rocks off the side, not at the locations that you mentioned, but at the animals that were you kind of whispering to. And things just weren't going well. They seemed a little inebriated. Something seemed to be off in the batches that you were making, Samel. Maybe you were making them too fast and too loose and tried too many new ingredients. This batch was off. They seemed very drunk. And those drunk people were getting a little sick with how fast Ryu and Merketta were making the ship go. Cabby, all your rocks are gone, and all the people on the boats have all of them. They're whipping them at each other. And those that are able to actually land hits are knocking people off of their balance, and they're starting to fall over. The ones that aren't already leaning over the boat are falling into the water. There are some that are leaning over and vomiting up mountains of cloudy, frothy ocean from Samel. Tobias, you're just playing this chaos in the background, trying to keep up the tempo of the boat. Merketta, they're not listening to you. The crew is inebriated as well. They're not stopping the boat, so these people are getting whipped left and right off of the boat into the water. These are tourists. These are people that are not used to a coast town, so they aren't very great swimmers. And you notice very quickly that no one really checked the safety and security of the boat. It wasn't a high priority. It was just supposed to be a simple boat tour, so you quickly run out of little buoys to help them stay afloat. Pretty soon, you guys are, well, you have a catastrophe on your hands. The guests are whipped off. By the time you get back to the docks, you have maybe 1 to 2 very drunk, very sick guests left on the boat, and a number of people that are attempting to swim to shore. And the Coastline Cruisers Boat Tour Company is not very happy with you all. They trusted you. They trusted that you knew what you were doing. And unfortunately, through no fault of your own, really. I mean, you guys were just trying to do the best job that you had. You were, well, pretty quickly fired. And because of bad press, because of maybe 1 or 2 deaths related to drowning and whatnot, people missing, not showing up, the Coastline Cruisers Boat Company ended up having to pull out of Saltmarsh proper and decided not to expand their line of boat town. You guys worked together. You had some good moments, but just didn't end up working out. And the town heard all about it, saw most of it, and you guys kind of made your way back through the town proper and tried to drown your sorrows at a local tavern, but the word had spread. You guys were known for this incident.
If only they would have listened and bought trip insurance.
Insurance costs money. Coastline cruisers were not all about spending money to make money.
Oh no, the passengers, you see. The passengers were supposed to buy trip insurance ahead of time, so in case this would happen, they could have been quite wealthy. They should have listened.
They should have. Maybe you're speaking too quickly.
Yes, well, we did have to get to the Marsh Mall literature. All those fine products you could buy while we were in process.
But each of you feel free to, for your time, I mean, you did do a couple successful tours. Each of you go ahead and roll 1d4. You've got some gold for all your sales. I mean,
Samel.
something is better than nothing. It's so weird considering how many potions you sold. You were pricing them way too low, Samel.
Cabby looks around the group. He's like, the markup on rocks is fantastic.
Right. So you all take your gold, and it's been about a day or so, and you're hoping that a good night's sleep will make the town forget what happened. But you all find yourself here. You all find yourself at the local tavern. Stop the music, sorry. You all find yourself at the local tavern that is very well known for being welcoming to the newbies. There's a few other taverns, but they weren't terribly. They seem to be for seasoned fishermen and nuts. But the Snapping Line is a large establishment down in the right near the market where Samel and Tobias, you had likely spent some time when you first arrived at Saltmarsh, trying to sell your wares and your entertainment in the weekly market. Right across the street from there, you guys find the Snapping Line. It's a relatively small inn and tavern built from the planks and hulls of half a dozen decommissioned fishing ships. So when you walk in there, you guys kind of smell that musky, fishy, saltwater smell that just seems to be just completely seeing the wood and all the joints and all the sails that are kind of draping everywhere. It just seems to permeate from the walls itself in here. There's not a few. There's barely anybody in here. It's probably midday now. You guys got some rooms upstairs. the coastline cruisers were like, look, we we're not bad people. We'll pay for, 1 night of room for you, but we have to get out of this town now, so they paid for your room and board for 1 night at this place, and that was it.
Well, that was going well until it didn't.
Basically. You guys get looks as you enter from downstairs in the tavern. Everybody at this point has heard and made their opinions of your intro into Saltmarsh. Kind of go about their drinking and eating. You have a bartender and a waitress kind of going back and forth between the kitchen. And you have a couple patrons just sitting at tables. They look up, you, and go back to their business. No one really paying you any mind. What are you guys kind of thinking you want to do with it?
Oh, I'd say Ryu's pretty upset, so she's probably going to want a drink.
Second.
This is probably going to look at the barkeep and point towards whatever passes for like a stage or whatever in the area. Looking for approval to set up.
Yeah. You look around, Tobias. You look around for the barkeeper who is in charge here, and you can see one woman that's basically just kind of wiping things down and slinging out drinks and handing out plates of food that come up from the kitchen to the waitress to hand out to a couple people. You guys run into Hannah. Hannah Rist. She is the owner of the Snapping Line. Anybody who has spent some time in town, which is all of you at this point, you've been here for a day or two, you've learned a little bit about Hannah and the Rist family. You know that the Rist family is a well-known lobster catchers, basically, fishers of the area. While Hannah isn't a fisher herself, she is busy at being a tavern owner and breaking out of the family business. She does keep touch with her family, and the Rist family as a whole is known for making a very acquired taste in spirit from lobster meat and potatoes called claw wine. So those of you that are looking for a very potent and very cheap drink, you'll know that claw wine is always fresh and available here at the Snapping Line. Tobias, she kind of gestures you towards the hearth. Looks to be an old cooking area. The fire's out now, but there's a chair and a little stool that you can kind of pull next to you to prop up any instruments or any other people that you might pull into your show. But she doesn't seem too terribly interested in chatting about your setup. She's seen you before. She knows that you have an instrument of some kind, and rather than listen to her patrons continue to chew and drink, she would welcome some kind of music. Ryu and Merketta, you're more than welcome to, pull up to the bar and get some claw wine or get something else. What would you like to drink? Hannah just walks up to you. She knows you all.
Evening, Hannah. Oh, by the way, Ryu has a soft southern accent, as is sometimes prevalent in this area. But so she goes, "Oh, Hannah, could I bother you for just a little bit of that claw wine that I know you guys brew?" I also feel like Ryu would love fishy wine for some reason.
Oh yeah. Would you like one of the new piles, or I mean, we got some fresh squeezed over here. If you don't want any of that, I can dig out some of the aged selection. Which would you prefer?
Oh, it's been a rough day. Can I bother you for some of the aged wine?
Ah, but that's gonna cost double, so that's gonna be 5 copper for a glass. But sure. Y'all don't take it too hard. What happened? I mean, it happens. I mean, you're new to the town. I mean, that company, they didn't belong here anyway. So, I mean, while I feel bad for y'all and what you happened, people tend to forget it. Just give them time. And she'll sling over. She gives you this giant tankard with a weird curved claw kind of out of it. It looks like these are custom for any claw wine that's ordered. Gets served in this red tinted clay mug, a strange claw hook on the side to hold.
Oh yeah, Hannah, thank you. That is the best stuff.
She gives you the drink, and Ryu, you can see inside of the drink there are chunks of lobster, just little flakes kind of sticking to the sides of the glass. It's not a chewy drink, but you get some bits in your teeth if you're not careful. But it does the job.
Oh, Hannah, did you put in extra chunks for me?
She just gives you a wink and starts wiping down some more claw bugs.
I turned to Merketta. I swear, Marketa, I know this isn't like everyone's cup of tea, but I highly recommend the claw wine here.
You say so. Would there be anything else on the menu that might be? So one of the things Marketa does when she drinks at an establishment is she finds the thing that has the highest alcohol content for the lowest price.
That definitely would be the claw wine. Now there have
She's familiar with the claw wine.
She is. There's also, I mean, there's the aged selection that Ryu got is a bit more potent. It has a bit more of a fishy, I mean, definitely like a moonshine lobster flavor to it. But it definitely is potent. Now, the claw wine that she kind of waters down for the day to day, I mean, she has people that are in there constantly drinking all day long. She doesn't give them the aged stuff, but if you ask Merketta, the cheapest you're gonna get for the most bang for your buck is gonna definitely be that aged claw wine that Ryu got.
All right, and that is what Marketa would have become familiar with.
All right, and she gives you the same size mug that Ryu has, even though Ryu is like three times your height, in general size. So maybe you look like a 6-year-old child with a big gulp as you kind of make your way back to your table. Well, what are you all planning on doing with your day?
Samel is also going to actually go up to the bar as well. Excuse me. Do you mind if I do you have a
Spit
glass
it out,
of
darling.
milk, please?
Milk?
Yes.
Yeah. And she's kind of like looking behind her, looking down where she was grabbing glasses before. She's like, yeah, give me a second. And she walks in back, actually, and comes out with a tiny clear glass with a cloudy, like, white liquid in it. It looks like the equivalent of watered down non-fat milk. And she says, this is the closest I got here. We milked some of the well, it's milk-esque. I mean, just taste it. If you don't like it, then I'll tell you what it is. I think it's best if you just try it first before I tell you what it is. It's kind of like that, you got to try the claw wine first before I tell you what's in it. Otherwise it's not going to go down that smooth.
Oh, she looks quite hesitant. Okay. And she'll go and take a sip.
Yeah, you take a sip, and it's kind of like if you've ever had like sugar, just a ton of sugar dumped into non-fat milk. That's what it is. It's like unbelievably sweet, and doesn't really taste a whole lot like anything at all other than sugar. But you taste a little bit of a cream in it, and she sees kind of your eyebrows go up, but most people like the sugar in it. I put a little extra in yours, but we got some creatures that down by the coast over there, over in the cove. They crawl up on the sand sometimes. They make some real good well, I mean, so the secretion from if you squeeze them right by the look, it's just ask for milk, okay? And that's what you'll get. If you ask for milk in Saltmarsh, that their liquid there is what you're gonna get. But ask for it extra sweet, otherwise it's gonna be a little bit bitter. Because if they didn't squeeze if they don't squeeze them right, it's a little sour. And she just kind of is like,
my God.
she it's just like that'll be a silver though. That milk is not easy to come by. It kind of kills the creature when we take its secretion. So, but here, take this, and she hands you like a side of bread. You don't want to eat that. You don't want to drink that milk on an empty stomach though.
Thank you. And she'll put down the silver and kind of like two hands holding the mug. And well, she'll grab the bread, but then when she gets to the tail, like just two hands, just kind of holding and staring at the mug. Kind of not sure how she feels about this.
The longer you look at it, the more it's starting to like separate. There's a cloud of like what looks to be just regular sugar settle into the bottom that's taken on like a yellow tint, and then something opaque floating to the top and like clear in the center. So it's best to maybe just keep stirring it.
She'll do that.
Ryu chuckles a little bit. Now you probably realize why none of the locals really get the Saltmarsh milk unless they've really acquired a taste for it.
I think I do see that.
All right.
So like as all
okay.
this is going on and they've all sort of marched off to get their drinks, Cabby like swings around in front of them again, like just like that slide move so that you're all of a sudden face to face with someone, and he goes, "Well, that worked up until it didn't."
You'd hear a little eep from Samel and a little hop back quickly.
And he just stands there with like that same grin expression, just waiting.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. Like the weather, it just changed so fast, and I just couldn't even get my bearings in that moment.
Well, I think the problem was that we were going in small circles, and if we wish a fast vessel, we might be better going in longer, straighter lines. So perhaps if instead of doing tours, we were to do transport, I feel that would be a better use of our time.
Well, we might get to see some more areas that are farther out. And I'm always looking to explore as far as I can go.
The further would the better normally. I would tend to say.
But we're a little limited on a ship to transport stuff with.
Yes, I have noticed that. I was thinking perhaps we could acquire more funds if we were to do other jobs about the town and then combine those funds to support perhaps the purchase of a ship, which could be reconfigured.
As soon as you say reconfigured, Merketta just starts rifling through her blueprints and just like starts pulling shit out and starts working on it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Find some work, get back to me.
Well, I know how to fish. I might know some of the locals around here, and I could maybe teach a couple of y'all how to fish if you really wanted.
I've done some thinking about that, and I don't believe that the funds that can be acquired by fishing would be sufficient, else you would already have the funds.
Very true. Yeah, I don't really have much else I can do, though.
I'm able to create a couple of interesting pushes, but the startup cost would be a bit um, high at the moment. So it would take some already investment capital to get it off the ground.
Hannah's gonna come over to your table and start refilling the claw wines, and at your statement, Samel, about selling some potions, she gives you this. She puts her hand on her hip and gives you a stern look. Now, I said that you needed to give people some time, and that includes time before selling your potions. I know you did pretty good at that weekly market, but sweetie, everybody that came off of that boat was plumb drunk. I don't know what you had, but I don't know if they're going to be buying any of your potions anytime soon, sweetheart.
I think some of the mistletoe and clawsfoot that I used might have gone sour.
Well, were they yellow or were they red? And she
They
starts.
were kind of more orangish in the middle, so I thought it'd be okay.
Okay, and was the mucus of their eyes, was it more of a white and clear, or was it cloud? She like tries talking to you about the details of the animals and whatnot, where you sourced your stuff, and I mean she's going into great detail, more than you probably even noticed when you were collecting your ingredients. And that might have been part of the problem.
Smil just kind of slumps.
So she'll be like she'll give you so you got to make sure that the eyes are clear, because you can't make anything from cloudy eyed. Those have gone bad. Just like when you get the milk. You know what? You go ahead and finish your alcohol and then or your milk, and then we'll talk. Um, but she says if y'all are looking for quick money, I mean, there's only really a couple different ways, and we got some missions around here, but it's kind of a fool's errand. I mean, the town council puts out a couple different job postings from time to time, and it's just the right kind of bait to catch newcomers, hook them in, get them to do stuff for the town. Pardon my puns. Y'all are looking for quick money. We can get you some info, but it's gonna be dangerous. I don't know what y'all are up to. I don't know what your history is.
I suppose that money for danger is normal.
I mean, sounds good to me. These are pretty dangerous, and I've survived so far.
Well, Hannah, I've been fishing on a boat my whole life, so I guess a little excitement couldn't hurt.
Well, yeah, you look like you're made from the water, but this ain't no fishing thing. And this is this is more an investigation thing. Well, the way the story goes is there's this house just outside of town. About it's a little more than outside of town. It's down on Old Coast Road. They it's been abandoned for years, but it used to, tale told, it was an old alchemist lived out there. All
Smil immediately perks up.
he
Um,
oh
are all of his supplies there? Did he leave any of his ingredients, or maybe a recipe book, or
Sweetie, I have no idea. I barely know what an alchemist is. I just know he done some concocting years ago, but it's been long since abandoned. I heard we don't know how he died, but you know, he used to travel to town every few months or so, but when he stopped showing up, people assumed he died. And there's no been taking care of that house over there. Been beat up by the weather, wind whipped and all. It's got a beautiful view of the coast, but no one wants to go down there. Every time someone ventures down there, they say they hear voices. They say they hear dogs, other kind of creatures. It's just got an eerie feel to it. But the town council says that if we're to start making money proper in Saltmarsh, that we're gonna need to clean up all the riffraff, or so they say. So they put out the task that if anybody wants to go over to the haunted house on Old Coast Road, that if they clean that up, figure out what's going on down there, and have proof that they done so, you know, the town might give you some money.
Would we be free to take any of his leftover supplies by chance? Maybe.
And she kind of like squints her eye at you, and she's like, I mean, that house down there has been abandoned for years, sweetheart. And I don't know what kind of riffraff done make homes up there, but I mean, you're more than welcome to take what you got. I mean, I don't think the town's gonna be none the wiser. Those types don't go traveling into places like that. I don't think they even know what's in there. I don't know what's in there. I used to get halfway to it as a little girl before I got scared and turned right around.
Samel turns to the rest of the group and starts doing puppy dog eyes.
Um, as Hannah's telling you this story, you guys over by Tobias, you've seen as you're setting up your stool near your hearth and popping your case open, you see an older, kind of disheveled looking gentleman kind of scooting closer to you as you start playing. He seems to, be snapping his fingers, but not really in time with your music, but he's enjoying it nonetheless. Um, and he kind of starts turning towards the rest of the group as Hannah's telling this story. And Tobias, can you give me a perception? Okay. You just noticed, Tobias, that he stopped paying attention to you. That he's turned towards the group now. Uh, and
Was
he,
that while he had the attention, and now he's annoying.
yeah, you,
Like you can see a slight tick, like maybe a vein just starting to pulse a little bit, and like his.
so as he turns away from you, Tobias, and you visibly kind of tick and maybe play a little louder, trying to get attention back to you. He kind of taps his claw wine mug on the table, and Hannah looks up and says, "Excuse me a minute, I gotta go. Other people need refills. Be right back." And she'll go fill up his cup as he empties out his pocket to try and give her a few copper. She kind of fills it up halfway, and give me anybody who's like kind of paying attention to this interaction can besides Tobias can give me a perception. You see them talking, but with Tobias playing, I'm not sure if anybody's able to. Okay. Yeah. Samil, you're in your own head. You're like alchemist. Gosh, the books that could be there, the ingredients that could be. I could learn so much. But Cabby, you're kind of like just you got that creepy smile. You're smiling at everybody. You're just making eye contact with people, or but you notice a little bit more that this conversation is. I mean, you can't hear what's going on because Tobias is playing loud, but you see that it's a little heated. You can see that he's kind of arguing with her, it looks like, and she puts a hand on her hip and does a little finger pointing and shaking in his general direction and kind of wipes off the table and walks away. And he just looks like he's literally harumphing and kind of folding his arms and staring down your table.
Oh, that fellow seems rather perturbed. I don't know what could have caused it. And he sort leans forward, and you can like see a little like irising effect in his eyes as they narrow a bit. I wonder if he was a passenger.
Samel just pulls up her hood tighter.
Oh goodness, I really don't want to run into a passenger at this point, but oh well.
And Cabby looks for the telltale signs of, having recently been aboard one of our vessels, bruises on, one side or their other of their hips as they were thrown back and forth, that greenish cast they all seem to have as they got off the boat. The spill stains from the clear liquid on the front of their shirts. No, he doesn't appear to be, or at least he's recovered remarkably well.
Yeah. Cabby, you're inspecting. You see this gentleman here. He's kind of he looks disheveled. He looks like he has white hair that's kind of yellowed and tangled at the ends. Got a long beard and mustache. His clothes, you're looking at his clothes for signs of drips and dribbles and things like that. This does not look like anybody that was on your boats. He doesn't look like he can afford barely even what he's drinking right now. He's got layers and layers of clothing that look like at one point, maybe even Tobias, you noticed this. They were of good quality at some point, but not anymore. Very disheveled looking, very looks like he has everything that belongs to him on his person right now. Hasn't bothered with proper hygiene in quite some time, but he doesn't look threatening. He doesn't look mad at y'all. He just looks he looks concerned, worried, almost like he wants to talk to you, but he keeps, in between stern looks at you guys, he keeps glancing over at Hannah, who is staring at him and just kind of shaking her head very subtly.
I turn to Hannah and go, "Oh, Hannah, you mind telling us who this fella is? Seems like he wants to talk to us."
Sorry, you're asking that of Hannah?
Yes.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, this place is pretty small. These two tables are pretty close to the bar area. She almost distractedly looks up at you addressing her, and she comes on over to your table and leans in and says, "Look, that there is Raymond, and you don't need to pay him any mind. He is in here all the time telling his stories, and she kind of stands up and speaks a little louder at the last part so she can be heard. Says, and none of them have any truth to them." And she kind of nods at Raymond. And he at this kind of straightens up a little bit and shouts over to your table and to her. Says, "That's not true. I'm speaking the truth. You don't want to hear it, that's fine, Hannah. But you ain't gotta keep me from talking to people. I can talk to people. Talking to people's free."
Oh, well, Raymond, why do you tell that story?
"Well, I'm glad you asked." And he kind of does a hoity-toity big leg swipe over off the bench and kind of gives Hannah a ha 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 as he saunters over to your table. And he plops himself down. As he does so, all of his layers of clothing kind of poof out a new level of fish scent that you guys hadn't already adapted your noses to. It's relatively unpleasant, but, smells a little bit like the claw wine. Well, I was trying to say, and he kind of gestures towards Hannah, before I was rudely interrupted, that you all should have the whole story before you head on out to that there house. That just 'cause that town wants to give you some money to do that don't mean there's no danger in it. Now, I just, it's a long story, and in order to tell a long story, I mean, I might need something to wet my whistle, so to speak. And he kind of pushes his empty cup towards the center of the table. But woe is me. I am just completely out of corn.
Can I push the rest of my drink towards him?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll take that. And he's like, well, I mean, it's not new, but wait. Is this this is the good stuff, isn't it? This is the aged. All right. Yeah, this'll do. All right. So, and he takes the tankard that he had, dumps the little dribbles into your cup, and kind of starts drinking your leftovers as he kind of winds up. And he takes a deep breath in, and he kind of looks over towards Tobias. And he's like, "Can you play me something for a tale?"
Storytelling. Basically, if he's looking back over at him, Tobias is kind of like saying Cabby, pulling away. Basically, one of the only people who's really paying attention to him.
That was very hard to hear, but I'll assume it was some version of yes / whatever gets people to pay attention to me. We'll just he liked your music in the beginning. He's just trying to set the scene a little bit. But because of the issues, can't wait for Tobias to actually be able to talk next week.
We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you. I feel bad as a character that's like, I want attention on me. We can't understand you, and I feel like this is like his worst fucking nightmare. Maybe he drank too much of Samel's potion and like it's just hurt his vocal cords.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. The eyes were supposed to be clear, not milky. Okay. Switching to something more appropriate for stories, but staring daggers at Cabby for pulling the only person really paying attention to him. Cabby, not sure if you even, like, how are you at reading facial expressions?
Not so good.
Okay.
So Cabby is now fully invested in the why of Raymond, and now he's working like sort of like just on the edge of hearing. Cabby's like, well, if he was concerned for our safety, then needed alcohol. The equivalence for our safety to him is booze. We should give him booze.
And I feel like Ryu has listened to a lot of fishing stories throughout her life, and this is a new one that she hasn't heard, so she's just mostly invested in hearing the story from this guy.
All right. So as Tobias stares daggers at Cabby, you guys all kind of huddle in as he starts taking a big swig of that claw wine. A good belch that smells wonderful, hot, breathy, all towards you, and says, well, I actually have been to the house. Mm-hmm. And he leans back, kind of nodding, like waiting for your, approval, but not waiting for it. See, back when I was young, this was, I don't know, a few years ago. I mean, younger. I went out there because, well, I've fallen on hard times, and I needed a place to stay. I was looking for a place to call my own, and done nobody claimed up that house, and it's big, sitting on the coast, got great views. I thought maybe I could make it my own, clean it up a little bit. It's not the first time I used a hammer. I thought I could, you know, squat in it until it's mine, so to speak. So I went down there. I went to claim it. Now, what them townspeople ain't gonna tell you about that house. There's ghosts over there. It's haunted. I don't know if the tales of Bazarab are true. If he really done lived there, I don't know. That was before my time. They tales about that alchemist there, Bazarab. He was real mighty powerful. I think he done cursed it. I think he's still there. Cause when I done walked up to that house, and he kind of just shudders a little bit, says, that there house got demons inside it. It's got them creaky floorboards like all them haunted houses done have, but that don't scare me none. But when I walked up to that front door, it wasn't locked. I got right in. But as I was walking around, ooh, I felt them eyes on me. Felt them eyes on my back. Felt them watching me walking around in there. It's dark. The house was kept up real good. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since Bazarab's been in there, or who done lived in there since, if anybody, but I don't know. There's lots of room in there. But I done walked all around that first floor. It's a big house, 2 floors. I done walked right in the door, and when I was feeling them eyes on me going down that hallway, I heard somebody scream. Somebody real close like. Then I heard noises upstairs right after that, like somebody done walking up there. Scared the shit out of me. So I run into the nearest room there, and I hid. I locked the door. I got inside, I locked the door, and I stayed there. I stayed there real quiet for about an hour. I didn't hear nothing else. So I got out. I thought I beat that house. I thought maybe there's something scary in here trying to scare me off. So I got out my special fishing knife, and I done kept exploring. I creaked up the stairs upstairs, and when I opened up into one of the bedrooms upstairs, I found the greatest library I done ever seen. There's so many books up there. They were all destroyed for the most part. I mean, I don't know how to read, but I don't think those letters were readable. But it was a great library at one point. A lot of bookshelves. Everything be a little bit wet because there was a big hole in the ceiling. But there was so many books up there. There's got to be some kind of treasure up there. But as I was exploring, I heard that creaking that I heard before. But now that I was upstairs, it was much closer. Ooh, I heard it come up. I heard it come right to the room that I was in. I'm looking around and I don't see nothing. And then I held my breath for a second. I'm looking around for that noise, and I hear the creaking as if somebody's in the room with me. I kid you not. The hair was standing up on my arms. But there ain't nobody there. I call out, I asking, who there? Ain't nobody answer me. That's when I started to feel that maybe I was trespassing or some kind of shaker around. So something was in there. Something done cursed them walls. I tried to make myself a place to sleep that night. I didn't want to leave that room because I was afraid of what was outside of it now. But I tried to make myself a bed. I tried to make myself stay there that night, but I just could not get over the feeling I was being watched. I made it about an hour. I must have nodded off at some point. I tell you what, I woke up, and that scream that I done heard before was nothing compared to the noise that done woke me up. It was the worst, most blood-curdling, ghostly kind of haunted scream you done ever heard, and it was echoing for too long. I counted. It was like 10 seconds. just screaming. I don't think it liked that I was there. I couldn't stay there. I couldn't see what was in front of me. House so damn dark, but I made my way down the stairs, made my way out that front door. I never looked back. That place is haunted. Yeah, maybe they're offering a few hundred gold to clear it out or whatever's down there, but none of y'all look like special kind of clerics to me. And I don't know if you can clear out that kind of haunting that's in there. I just feel like y'all should know what you're getting yourselves into. Because ain't nobody around here gonna tell you the real story. Because ain't nobody around here actually done experienced it but me. And he takes a final chug of the drink, slams the empty cup on the counter, and kind of nudges it back towards Ryu with an eyebrow.
She doesn't realize that he pushed the cup back towards her, but she goes, "Demons, really? On the coast?"
You calling me a lie? Dumb Bazrab up there done cursed that place. That guy was crazy. I mean, that's what they said. I mean, I only heard through tales of tales of tales, but they said he real mighty powerful, and that he done cursed them walls. He hated the town of Saltmarsh. Didn't like that they didn't like him. They thought he was weird. He thought they were mean, and he didn't want to leave nothing to nobody. And he didn't want all his stuff getting out. That library that I found with all that information, I bet that's all his information. I bet that's good information in there. I bet that's worth way more than that town's gonna pay you. I bet there's all sorts of gold in their walls too that he didn't want people finding. Maybe there's buried treasure under there. I don't know. I don't know. That's what they say though.
Well, if the building is infested by a demon or ghost or creature of that sort, being of the undead or incorporeal nature, those can be destroyed. If the building is cursed, if there is an enchantment laid upon it, perhaps the building should be destroyed. We could investigate that. I do not know that I could decurse or de-enchant a building, but I do have some abilities to damage spectral creatures.
Merketta purposely has been trying to ignore this guy. This is just like, okay, he's clearly either bullshitting or if he is telling the truth, like ghosts, demons, ghosts specifically, this is not too big a deal. Obviously, we all know that we're in a fantasy setting, right? We know that ghosts and demons can actually exist. Yes.
And Ryu knows that a lot of fishing tales, while they are tall tales, some of them do have an element of truth in them. Like she's seen some interesting things out on the ocean during her time.
Listen to her. She's a smart one.
Yeah, Marketa would be like, yeah, it's not that we don't believe you. It's that I I don't particularly care about the specifics. If we want to go up there, we'll do our best. See what's really going on. Anybody up for that?
Samel's just shaking. Is there any other jobs in town by chance? Maybe.
Miss Samuel, I do have a question. Why are you scared? You appear to be a market percentage yourself.
Market percentage? Well, what do you mean exactly about that?
Skin color, eye color, horns, wings.
As you mark these off, she's like tightening her cloak around her and putting her hood up tighter.
Now, Cabby, I mean, yes, maybe she has a certain look to her, but then again, we can't really be going around judging everyone on their skin color. It doesn't make all folks comfortable, you see.
Oh, I don't mean to create an entire judgment, but familiarity breeds, well, contempt, and you do not seem to be responding with contempt towards the possibility of demons.
Was that to me or Samel? Sorry.
Sort of in the air between you, talking to you about Samel.
Well, I've never had any experience with demons. Seems like something we should try and be careful about if they really are somehow in that house. But Samel doesn't seem, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, Samel doesn't seem super dangerous. Samel, have you had any experience with demons?
She kind of is quiet for one. Not personally.
Well, what stories have you heard? Assuming something's got you a little bit frightened about all this.
Mhm. Just I'm just not very good with confrontation for the most part. I thought it was when it was mentioned earlier that it might have just been empty house that nobody wanted to go to because it's a little weird. But uh, now that there's sounds like something's actually there, I'm a little less comfortable with the whole um, you know fighting thing or uh, yeah.
You gotta see your stuff to fight the stuff. I didn't see nothing to fight. But there might be something special in there. I don't know. Might take a brave person to get in there though. Also, what are you hiding under there? And he is like pointing at as you pull your shroud over you. It's like, are those actually horns on your head? I thought that was. What is that?
No, it's nothing, nothing at all. Seriously, it's really nothing. Just yeah, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. And she just kind of awkward side steps away behind somebody who's taller.
Either way, we should be getting along to the house. If this is a posted reward, we stand the chance of missing out if others go first.
Uh, at this point, Hannah kind of chuckles and comes over and uh pulls something off of the railing to the stairs up there that's stuck with a knife, and gives you a sheet of paper, and it has the details of the town council basically. Yep, basically looking for uh, some people to have cleared out the house and bring back some kind of proof that they can now destroy that area and build something much more profitable, like a B&B or something. Um,
Oh, wonderful. They intend to destroy the house anyway.
yep, yep, that's what they say. And Hannah kind of hands that to you and's like, look, don't let him scare you away. I'm sure there's nothing there but, maybe some locals or creepy nearbys that have been squatting in that house, causing all sorts of ruckus. I'm sure it's nothing. Now, I mean, I would definitely arm yourselves and just be on the safe side, but I'm sure if you can last the whole night there, you'll find out that there's nothing really there. You just got to bring back some kind of proof, and they'll give you that there 200 gold.
I turn to Samil and I say, now look, Samil, you gotta take these old fisherman tales with a grain of salt. And I do hope you'd stick with us, especially if that place belonged to an old alchemist.
She looks to be kind of weighing the pros and cons right now. Um, uh, okay. I guess we can. There's no harm in at least seeing the place, right?
And if anyone comes after you, I'll try and hit him with my staff.
That would be much appreciated.
Hannah seems to be like totally like not annoyed, but just like wants to fix the problem of Samel shuddering and being so terribly afraid. She just doesn't. It's not good for business. Somebody shuddering and being afraid. So she's like, well, for what it's worth, I hear that that old Bezarab, he was mighty close to finding a way to turn some kind of metal into gold. I don't know. I don't think he ever really got there. But there's some books that have been flying around town, and I thought they were fiction. Used to read stuff like that, stories about Bezarab when I was little. But I guess he was working on transforming some metals to gold. So maybe there's a bunch of riches for all y'all there. More than that 200 gold.
That's kind of a old story among alchemists. There's always somebody trying to turn lead or iron into gold. It's never really worked out well, apparently.
Oh, for 10 silver and a copper, you can get a gold from the money changer.
Fair point. Fair point.
Well, I don't know what y'all want to do, but I mean, he there, and she'll kind of gesture at Raymond, who's been eyeballing Merketta's drink as the only one that's still probably got anything in it besides Samel's milk. Um, I I don't know what y'all are looking to do or when you're looking to go. If you're gonna take it on though, I would get a move on there. We got a storm rolling in soon, and you're gonna need to get on some kind of cover over your head before that storm done roll in. Gonna take about a 2-3 hour walk to get there. Just follow the coast down. You'll find it. You'll see it. You better get a move on before it gets dark.
Um, thank you. I think we should listen and start heading that way. Then we don't really want to be there after dark.
Well, yes, actually, we would. That seems the most likely time for encountering the troublesome spirits.
Oh, right.
I mean, feel free to fill up my glass for a story well told. Grateful for the warnings. Hmm?
Merketta slams the rest of her drink, sets the glass in the bar. Are we going or not? I'm ready.
Oh, I do think so. Just a moment. He'll get out the 3 coppers, was it, to refill Raymond's drink?
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Hannah. Got a refill needed here. Thank you. I always liked you. You got a kind smile. Real friendly like. Not weird at all.
Oh, thank you. I'm told the craftsman was quite skilled.
Yeah, I don't like that thing you said as much as the kind act that you just did, but that's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Cabby will head out.
All right. Tobias, you coming along. Uh, you could have overheard, playing a quieter tune. Could have overheard what was going on.
I think guys would have been listening into the story and feeling pretty much everybody's reaction just kind of roll his eyes a bit at the end of it, especially at Raymond um, perusing for another drink. But seeing the rest of them go, he would probably stop playing grab his overly large case, pack his bottle in, and probably follow them. I mean, he's been working with them so far. Why not get in on this bit of cash?
Cash is cash. All right. So let's move you guys over to kind of this map. So you guys, stupid. Sorry. Stopping the music. You guys are just heading down the coast. Obviously, you can see where the haunted house is here, and you guys should hopefully have access to move the token there. Like Hannah said, it's about a 2-3 hour walk depending on how fast you guys want to go down the coast there. But I think we are rounding about at our halfway point, so we'll probably take our 5-minute bathroom break. But before we do, could I please have somebody roll a d20 for reasons?
No.
You are bad from rolling.
3 is a number.
3 definitely is a number. Could I also have you roll a d6?
Same person?
Whoever wants to, yeah. I mean, you can, same person. You rolled the fate.
I win!
Okay. All right.
Threegan!
It's the same number.
I just wanted
Strange.
to echo your greatness.
My greatness?
Sure, why not?
All right. So we will take a 5-min break, and we'll be back for stuff and things.
Cool.
Cool. See you in 5.
Yay!
Cool.
For anyone who's in the chat right now, what is the command that you guys do in the Roll20 chat for when you're stating what your character's doing?
/Emmy.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
Still getting used to Roll20 a little bit, because before the pandemic and everything happened, I was only doing, like, campaign sessions in person.
Totally fair. So you could just ask Nelly. He knows he knows all the Roll20 stuff. Or at least he should.
I learn something new about it every couple of days.
Nice, yeah. I only kind of miss rolling physical dice a little bit.
I miss throwing dice at people. I don't miss rolling dice. The ability to huck a die across the table is something I miss.
I miss the fact that I've only had like 3 in-person games ever. And not like full games, like sessions.
I haven't had in-person games in a long time. Oh, I forgot to mute.
Hello.
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 Hey.
I heard most people. We have a Kana. Where's Samel?
No.
No. Decided to get scared and stay behind.
Something like that.
Righty. Okay, so as you guys kind of make your way out of Saltmarsh proper, you pass by the gates that kind of brought you into the city. You see on either side of the gate leading out of the city, there are 2 kind of older-looking guard towers, manned by 2 guards each. They kind of just nod your way as you walk down south. There's kind of like a trolley path that heads south and out of Saltmarsh, but sticks very close to the coast. You guys see what Hannah was talking about. Oh, sorry. You see what Hannah was talking about as you guys make your way out and kind of looking towards the coast. The waters seem to be a bit choppy today. It looks like there is actually a storm rolling in. The sun is trying to peek its way through the clouds, but there's a thick fog that seems to be kind of rolling in. You hear the rumblings of thunder out over the water. Something is definitely coming this way. Probably about 4 in the afternoon. And you guys make your way out. The path towards the haunted house is relatively uneventful. Just a lot of walking, a lot of observing some wreckages that have washed up on the coast. As you get closer to the haunted house, see a old kind of well-worn road that seems to extend winding up a hill, and that's, as far as you're guessing, is known as the Old Coast Road. You don't see any signage as you go there, but looking out, you see the rocky coastal terrain, and then a wind starts to kind of pick up as you start to walk your path towards the house. You see a large house sitting on a high ground just ahead of you. Around it, you can kind of make out a crumbling stone wall, kind of a few hundred yards outside of the actual start of the house. Um, in between the stone wall, you see what looks used to be maybe a well-tended garden. You see it's been long since overgrown. Wild flora has just kind of taken over the whole grounds in front of the house. You see kind of discarded gardening tools, rakes and stuff like that, wheelbarrow overturned and missing a wheel. As you guys make your way up to the stone wall, you can see it's about 6 feet tall, at its highest, but it has since kind of crumbled. It looks like it's been beaten upon by winds and water. The house sits up high over the coast, kind of overlooking. There's a bit of a drop um, from the edge of the house down to the water. So there's no actual access to the water from here. The views from inside the house, you imagine, must be pretty incredible. Let's see. Yep, you guys, looking at the house exterior, guys, I mean, you can see why people are calling this a creepy haunted house. It looks just like a standard creepy haunted house would. It's a wooden house with, you can see the roof is caved in different parts, and see that the steps have worn off in parts up to the door. You can see that a couple of the windows have been boarded up, others have been broken in, and you can hear above the wind that is now picking up and kind of the mist that's coming in off of the seawater, you can hear the creaking of wood boards from even this far away. But you guys find yourself at the kind of cockeyed metal gate in between the stone walls that surround it. You guys are getting the feeling that the storm that Hannah was talking about is approaching. The winds are picking up. It's getting a little cooler. What are you guys gonna do?
This place is a wreck.
What was that? Sorry.
This place is a wreck.
This place is a wreck. Yeah. Yeah. Tobias, you're not impressed.
You know, I wonder, is it that houses in this design are haunted more often? Or is there some sort of precognition involved? If a house is going to be haunted, it's built in this design.
You know, that is a good question. I hadn't really thought of that before.
Yes, I do often wonder why things are built in the fashion that they are.
Hmm, should we go in, or should we maybe come back another day when there's not a storm rolling in and everything looks very ominous?
Oh no,
How,
I do
mu-
not think we would be caught in the storm on the coast road. A storm surge can be quite deadly.
how much would Ryu know about the status of the storm?
Yeah, give me a nature roll.
Alrighty.
Guidance.
As Samuel's like, oh god, I'm terrified, but I think that's happening. Ryu, you look out and kind of maybe turn your nose up towards and try and sniff what's going on. The storm that's coming in isn't it's not anything of, you know, great worry, but it definitely looks to be a lengthy storm. You can smell the salt water. You can smell the cool feeling of the air. And you know that this storm is being pushed into Saltmarsh from far away. You know that this has taken great effort to get here, so it's not leaving anytime soon. You're likely looking at a longer few hours worth of a storm here.
And what's our current time of day again? Sorry.
So you guys left town at around 3:30, 4. You guys are probably around 6 o'clock, and I would guess sunset is around 7. So it's dark because of the clouds that are rolling in, but it's not dark yet.
All right, so Ryu turns to the party. Folks, I think this storm is going to be not a quick passing through kind of storm, but we're going to have to hunker down for a few hours.
Well, shit. All right.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Well, we weren't intending to destroy the house right off, so we can take shelter there for some time before we destroy it if necessary.
And I mean, we can try and explore it a little bit, see if we can find some alchemy type things for Samel here.
That would be pretty nice.
Right, I am going to kind of move you guys. If you decide to approach, you can approach the house. Waiting for Tobias. Tobias adjusts his vial case on his back and mounts the steps, walking up to the door. Okay, cool. Let's move you guys over here. New map. Yay.
Samil, as we were moving through the gardens, were there any plants of note?
Samil, you can
I
give...
would like to guide myself as I check around and see if there's anything that could be useful in the creation of potions or alchemy or
Yeah.
healing.
Give me a either a investigation or a survival.
Shit. I was hoping nature, but okay.
Okay. Yeah, you don't find anything that you know of as far as helpful alchemy goods. All the things that you're noticing in the garden look to be, or they used to be, whoops, turn that off on the stream, sorry. Used to be for food purposes. Also, if you guys are watching the stream, please don't, because spoilers. I have no way to turn off GM view stuff, but yeah.
Fair.
Sorry. Samil, you notice that this used to be like a food garden. Apparently either somebody that lived here after Bazarab or, um, it either after Bazarab or Bazarab himself, was a pretty good gardener. You can see vague outlines of layouts of rows of food, carrots, squash, things like that. Um, you don't find any alchemist stuff, but you do find, a few large piles of pupe. Um, give me a give me an animal handling check. See if you can decipher what kind of animals may have dug into this and kind of gotten it all mucky.
Could I do a nature check instead to determine the nature of these animals?
Sure, you can try a nature check. It'll probably be a little bit harder. Okay, yeah, that's not that bad. Yeah, you notice that based on kind of what they were eating, and kind of just looking at how old it is, it's fairly fresh. You're guessing within the past week or so. Um, there were at least a couple giant weasels in this garden. You don't see sign of anything right now, but definitely something made a ruckus up here and made their self known.
It seems that there were this used to be a food garden, and some giant weasels used to be um here, at least within the last week or so, as best I can tell.
Oh, that is a bit curious, but I was thinking perhaps if you were to see any plants that outlined a grave, or would be placed on a grave or around a grave. We are looking for signs of the undead.
Did I find any of such?
No, you don't notice anything. I mean, there's some flowers around, but you don't notice any markers or any like strategically 6-foot shaped plots of anything. And kind of even looking around before you guys get up to the house proper, you're kind of looking at the whole front of the yard. You don't notice any kind of cemetery or markers of that kind. It looks like it was just a pretty normal front yard that at one point was probably a really pretty garden.
Well, that does deviate.
All right. So feel free to. Hopefully, you guys can see at least around the house. But you guys can
Yep.
place yourselves here as you're able to get in. That's the front door right here. So feel free to drag your tokens over. Just click on your name and pull it in, or if you're, yeah. Jill, if you just click on where it says Ryu and pull it over to the map, you can drag your token onto there.
Okay.
And I did turn on your tokens to have everybody's health available just for speed of things, so not everybody's wondering. And one thing I wanted to get, I think I got everybody's passive perception, but could you all just make sure to give it to me? Sorry. Just want to make sure I got it right and updated.
16.
Okay.
12.
13. Also, I'm sorry, where does it say Ryu where I can drag the token in?
So like where you click on your character sheet to open it, if you just hover over where it says Ryu on your character, like before you open your character sheet, you go to the little tab at the top that says Journal, you hover over your character where it says Ryu in the blue font and drag it over. Yep.
Thank you. Still
Huzzah.
new to roll 20.
That's all good. Okay. So you guys all find yourself on the front steps. Tobias, you specifically mentioned that you were just kind of walking up as everybody's kind of digging into poop and other such gross things. You walk up the steps, taking careful care to avoid the giant holes in the well-worn steps up there. There is a rather small porch on the front of there. It's got holes. It doesn't look like it has any furniture or anything to sit on, so the porch is really nothing of note, but it gives you all room to kind of congregate if you want to at the front door. There is no kind of window or anything on the front door. It is just a giant hulking wooden door that appears to be closed.
Well, I believe Raymond said it was unlocked, and likely he left it unlocked. So, is it got a handle, lever, push, pull?
Door open.
It definitely does have a doorknob on it, for sure. Sorry, Tobias. What was that?
I think it was pushes it open, but I didn't quite hear.
Okay, I figured. All right, Tobias, you open the door. And the door is heavy, and it is unlocked. The door, you give it a little push, and it swings on its hinges, a bit of a heavy creak. You feel the kind of dampness of the door itself. The wood here all seems to be soaked from the wind bringing in from the sea. And you can just peer in. It's not dark yet, so you see bits of light coming in through the various windows around the house, but it is quite dark in here, and it seems to be getting darker by the minute, but you can see inside the general, kind of the very first walkway inside. To your right, Tobias, you can see a staircase that is mostly intact. To your left, you see a hallway just up there that leads off to the left, and in the distance, you can see a hallway that goes straight And just past the stairs, you see what might be another hallway. Let me reveal this to you guys. Yeah. And then Tobias, you can see a hallway over that way and down that way, and something that looks kind of like maybe a hallway just under the stairway. And the stairway goes up to what you guys can see just above. You can make it out a second level up there, but you can't really see anything that's going on up there. You feel, as you kind of crack open that door, you feel musky wood moldy scent kind of hit your face. You see cobwebs in the corners that you're able to see broken furniture just strewn about. And you don't see any kind of it doesn't look like this has been destroyed or anything. You don't see any kind of vandalism. It just looks like it's been very well worn by the elements. Perhaps the door was open during a storm or something like that, because everything in here has a very damp kind of feel to it.
Is it dark enough at all that I need to light one of the torches in my pack?
No, you guys can see. The only issue is you haven't moved inside to see around all kind of nooks and crannies, so you guys can see just fine. It's just perhaps some of the details are lost to you right now, but it's definitely still light enough to see.
Oh, as we move forward, does anyone not have the ability to damage the incorporeal? Does anyone require arcane or magic weapons?
I don't actually have any weapons, but that's okay. I'm good.
I have a shillelagh, which I cast on my quarterstaff and turn that into a magical weapon.
Oh, it does not seem prudent to leave you entirely unarmed. The shillelagh seems a reasonable solution, but perhaps, and Cabby sort of heads over to Samel and offers out 3 stones on his palm.
Thank you, Mr. Cabby, sir, but I'm okay. I do have potions that I can use, but they're kind of more of a last resort kind of deal. Not so much. I'm gonna try and avoid, um, getting up in the front. You can, I'll let you do that. She just kind of holds up her shield with 2 hands.
So I'm assuming you wouldn't want to try and borrow my scimitar then.
No, thank you. I'm quite all right.
So Cabby looks a little confused, but he takes the 3 stones and he puts them in a small sort of divot that sits on one of his shoulders. And then the raven's head that kind of makes up half of his pauldron lifts up and then lowers, kind of trapping the stones between its lower part of its beak and the little divot in his shoulder. As you wish. That does seem odd, though. And then he'll move to follow Tobias as Tobias is like doing his ginger walk into the.
Yeah, Tobias, you're taking your first steps into the house, gently kind of putting your foot down, testing your weight, and it seems to hold you. This seems to be you can tell from looking up that this is the ground floor. And it seems to be holding your weight just fine. You can go ahead and go in if you'd like. It seems relatively safe. Once inside, you guys can see a little bit more down the hallways. It looks like, I mean, just like, old large houses to be built, they have lots of hallways and doors and other things. You guys don't really hear any of the noises that Raymond mentioned. You do hear the wind picking up outside, kind of catching what you imagine are windows throughout the house, kind of whistling in between them. You feel a breeze coming from the back area of the house somewhere. You feel like maybe there's a broken or an open window somewhere. You feel that cool, wet breeze kind of finding its way to you, both from the front and from the open door behind you.
Oh, we should see to the window. If it's left open in a storm, it could cause more damage throughout the house.
Yeah, I could go try and find that open window.
I had the skills to fix it too. That's right.
All right.
Merketta,
One wouldn't wish for a house to be in disrepair before it is torn down.
Gotta keep my skills sharp.
Merketta, your engineering skills never cease to amaze me. That's not sarcastic, by the way. Ryu is just really impressed with how much engineering she knows.
All right, Ryu, you said you were trying to find the open window or something somewhere?
Yep, we kind of said that it was coming from straight ahead of us.
That's where you feel like the biggest breeze. You're not sure because just ahead of you, you see this. Sorry, on the wrong layer. You see over here is the stairway leading up. So you feel it's coming from this direction, but you're not sure if it's traveling from upstairs and down or if it's just straight away. You're not quite sure, but you could give me a investigation or a survival to try and maybe figure it out. Maybe sniff the air if you'd like to use your survival.
I'll use survival.
That
Good
nose of
survival.
yours. Yeah, you sniff the air. Yeah, you can tell that it's kind of coming from straight ahead. It seems to be on this floor. So it's coming straight from this way somewhere.
All right, Ryu's gonna move ahead.
As you kind of walk ahead, Ryu, you're kind of taking notice of everything around you. You also notice, you kind of got your nose in the air, but when you go to look down, you notice the very faint outline of what look to be footprints heading in your direction. Like heading in the direction that you're heading, sorry. And you also see this hallway as you pass it, and Cabby, you can see just down this way. By the way, I'm hoping I'm revealing, but there are doors that you can kind of see along the walls here, here, here.
Yeah, we don't quite see them. Thank you for pointing them out. Merketta would probably try to stick with Rio as much as possible.
Okay.
Hey, Merketta, I'm not seeing things, right? These are some footprints going this way.
Do I also notice the footprint?
Yeah, once Ryu points them out to you, you can see the same subtle kind of footprints along the floor. It looks like, I mean, all this wood is kind of damp and wet, but it looks like there's mud in the shape of a boot or something. It does look to be older and kind of blown away a little bit, but it's definitely not a normal shape, not a paw of any kind.
All right, Ryu's gonna go a little bit farther down the hall.
Okay. And I tried to reveal it. I don't know if you could see, but there was a door right next to you there, as well as a door right here. I'm trying to make sure to reveal them, but I am sorry if it is not working properly.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize there were doors there.
That's okay.
I'm gonna keep looking for the source of
Yeah.
the fresh air, and I'll come back to there.
Yeah, for sure. You find it pretty quick. Over here. Nope, that didn't work. Sorry, it keeps accidentally selecting your token. Over here. Let's try. There we go. Sorry about that.
Good.
Back into the not darkness. Over here you can see a window that's been busted open. And through that window, you can see out into the kind of courtyard area. You see tall grass. You can see a bit of the coast. You feel the cool sea air kind of blowing in. And just outside that window, you can make out past the tall grass a very beaten down, what looks to be a well.
Hey, Merketta, I found that window if you want to try and put your handiwork to it.
All right. I'll come around that corner and assess the window. How busted is it? Is there material around to board it up,
Um,
or is that not a useful thing to do?
I mean, you can do whatever you like. There's absolutely like broken wood from furniture and plaster that looks to have fallen down from the second level of the house that you could definitely put together and plaster over it. The window itself has some broken glass around it. You could patch it up if you wanted to, absolutely.
I would also like to try to figure out what broke the window. If it was just like a storm, or if this window was broken on purpose by someone trying to get in or maybe out,
Yeah.
or what happened to the window.
Yeah, you can roll me an investigation.
Yes, I.
Yeah, yes, you can. You're kind of looking back towards Ryu, back towards the window, looking out past the window, and you notice that those steps that or those footprints, whatever that is, continue straight down the hallway into the room that you guys kind of see there. They don't continue towards the window, so you're guessing that this was not somebody trying to break in so much as just some errant something ended up breaking this window. You see the glass is shattered on the floor in front of you. It looks like it was probably storm related.
All right. I won't bother boarding up the window then.
While Merketta is fixing that window, I think Ryu would probably try and get curious about this room up to the top left.
Sounds good. Let's pause on that real quick and see what everybody else is doing, just kind of lingering. Samel, are you keeping everybody else from going forward because you're scared?
No, they are free to do whatever they want. She's just kind of hanging around the entrance and just looking around a little bit and not wanting to go too far from the rest of the group, but seeing the other two, she'd probably try to catch up to them and just kind of just looking around, not wanting to spread too far from anybody else.
Alrighty. Bias sets his case down against the wall as he steps off to the side while the rest explore, popping latches on the backside of the case. The flat back hinging outward, revealing a felted interior. Wow. Javelins, a couple clean hand axes, and straight down the middle a pristine and shining glaive. Okay. So, Tobias, you kind of lean your case against the wall, pop a few latches, and open up this weapon cache that you may or may not have told everybody about. I think the only one that would really see it would be Cabby.
Eep.
Squeak?
Squeak. I think Cabby just sort of like eeps at the weapon cache, but then he sort of falls back into his idle animation. So as he's standing there, a little he pulls out a little bit of string and a little stick, and he makes sort of like a little string dance around from the stick. And then when he lets go, the string and the stick take off like a little animated mop and begin tidying up the area. It seems like there's a little perhaps shoe rack next to him that's fallen down and is broken, so that gets stood up and straightened up, and that bench looks like it's turned around the wrong way, so he turns that around the other way, and that chair is certainly belongs in the corner, so that gets moved over to the corner, and he just begins tidying the area.
Okay. Yeah. Cabby, you do a little eep at the weapon cache that you see over there, and you then start. Did you create something to tidy it up?
So Cabby is working. He's also cast Unseen Servant, so there's an
Okay.
Unseen Servant roaming around, which is represented by the little tiny mop as it moves from place to place, so nobody accidentally steps on the Unseen Servant.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, if you look back, Samel, as you're kind of, why are we separated? You see, Cabby kind of, or something near Cabby kind of straightening up. You see Tobias closing a case and is now suddenly equipped with hand axes on either side of his belt.
Not looking away from them, she's just kind of reaching over and tapping Ryu on the shoulder. There's something over what? The thing not what? Something she is not doing very well with having her words come out.
And like completely oblivious to this, Cabby is like doing things that require two people as one person. Like he lifts up one half of a thing and then the other half of the thing sort of just drifts over and stands up. Like when the shoe shelf doesn't line up quite right, like he lifts the lid, it straightens itself, he puts it back down. So it does, if you're not anticipating an Unseen Servant, it might look a little odd.
Love how everybody's got like a mixed message for what the goal of being in here is, because Cabby has seemingly switched to tidier. Merketta came in with like tools like, what can I fix?
He takes social cues well, and Merketta's a very fix-it-up person.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we'll slide back over. Ryu, you watch Marketa for a second trying to analyze the window situation, but your eyes are drawn to the large room that's kind of opened up in front of you. You see what maybe at one point had been a very small, like kitchen. It doesn't look like very well equipped, but it's got the basics. It looks to have like a few countertops, a couple cabinets. All this stuff is, the cabinets are kind of falling off of the walls. They can barely hold on to them anymore. Everything just feels kind of damp back here. You're guessing that because of that open broken window being back here, perhaps they've gotten a little more of that fresh sea air than other areas of the house. So everything here feels very damp. You see heaps of kind of rotting cloths in the corners, piles of clothes or laundry or curtains, you're not sure. You see the window just above the sink. It's kind of boarded up, making this room a little bit darker than the hallway that you just came from. And at the end of the room, you see a staircase leading up.
All right, and is that a door that I'm seeing right there?
Yes, so let me point out all the doors. So I apologize for you not seeing them. There is a door here. There is a door here. There is a door here. And then Cabby, you would have seen a door down here and over here. And Tobias, you probably would have seen it also. As well as over here and over here.
All right. You folks all right with it if I open a few doors? I'm just curious about what all could be in this old house here.
Oh yes, I'm just straightening up to make it comfortable for us.
Just do be careful. You don't want anything popping out and I don't know, sucking out your soul or something like that.
Fair point, fair point. Samuel, I would not make you open any doors if you don't want to. I look at the stairs and I'm going to open this door out of curiosity, as dumb or smart as that may be.
And Tobias chimes in, "We're here to investigate, right? Opening doors is part of that." Except in Tobias' voice.
Duly noted.
Okay. Yes. So you guys all kind of head up there. You go to reach for the door. The door. Sorry, hold on. Tobias, we're here to investigate. Opening doors. Yep. Okay. Ryu, you grab the door handle and It's not locked. Just like the front door, kind of heavy, damp wooden door. It creaks open, and you see. Select icon. You see what looks to be a pantry, kind of like a scullery. This room in general displays the effects of damp and decay more than kind of some of the other areas. When you open the door, the mold scent that was kind of a little bit throughout the rest of the house just really whacks you in the face. Inside of here, you also get like this very metallic kind of almost taste in your mouth as you see a large number of discarded and kind of maybe rusting out pots and pans in the corner. You see large patches of mold all over the floor. Looks like the wood is almost soft in here on the ground. And you see a small window towards the back. A cask is open in front of it. Looks to be empty from where you can see. And then you also see very badly deteriorated stairs that seem to lead down. Yeah, you're kind of almost nauseated by the smell of mold in here.
I've smelled a lot of rotten fish on the coast, and this is way worse. I think she's gonna try to gingerly test the floor in front of her before putting her weight on it.
Okay.
It might help if I check to see if. Do you mind letting me have a look quickly to see if the mold is toxic in any way? Something that could actually do damage for depending on exposure.
By all means, go ahead.
Samel's going to pull out just a cloth and just wrap it around her face as a kind of mask, and she's gonna check out the mold and see if it's toxic or deadly.
Yeah. Give me a nature roll.
Right. Guidance. Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. You put a cloth over your mask and you kind of kneel down, and you get closer, and it's almost enough to knock you out. Like, you were weirded out by that weird milk secretion drink. You weren't too interested in the claw wine, but this is just straight toxic. Even with even with the roll that you have, just bad, 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 not good.
I'm gonna turn to Ryu. Yeah, this stuff will probably kill you. You should probably close the door and they'll probably burn it all to the ground.
It does seem like no living creature should be breathing that. I closed the door. It does seem like if we did want to explore down there, that maybe Cabby would be the only person that could survive that. Maybe we could
Right.
tie a rope to him in case he falls through the floor. We could haul him back out. But yeah, I think so. The next thing Ryu would try to explore is the upstairs.
All right. Cabby, any response from you? Do you turn when you hear your voice usually?
I think he's going to remain blissfully unaware that he was just being used as a sacrificial lamb / miner's canary.
Okay.
So, he's just sort of tidying down there. And then when they come back up, he sort of looks up to see what they found.
All right. So, Cabby, you are blissfully unaware of what's going on down there. Tobias, go ahead and either talk or type of what you're kind of inspecting there. You're standing kind of under the stairway, it looks like.
Yeah, just kind of peering down the hallway. both of these doors are closed?
Yeah. Any doors that you guys have walked past are closed. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. Cabby, your passive is 16, yeah?
16, correct.
Okay. So
And as Cabby is tidying, and sort of like moving about, he'll be recounting the tale that Raymond gave them, and he'll be like, "Well, he said he walked in this way, and then he ran in this direction." So he's trying to plot out which rooms Raymond, if his story was true, may have hidden in, trapped in, etc.
gotcha. All
So
right.
he's drawing like chalk marks on the floor, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah, for sure. You were listening pretty intently. You and Tobias are sticking towards the front of the house. Tobias is kind of looking down the hallway, and you're trying to figure out, as you're trying to recall Raymond telling you where you went, you're realizing that Raymond directions weren't exactly one of his strong suits or a feature in that story really at all. You notice that he mentioned up and down, but you don't recall any left or right or straight designations. So aside from you knew that he wandered upstairs at some point, you're not quite sure what direction would have been a helpful direction in which to go. You know that somewhere in here lies a library, and that library is somewhere upstairs. And you are kind of you're not making a ton of noise with your unseen servant, but you're kind of tidying and moving some furniture and stuff like that. So you're making a little bit of noise. Tobias, okay, Tobias, go ahead and give me a perception check. Okay. As you are walking down that hallway, kind of like eyeballing the doors, you see that window that's facing out. Um, Seems to be intact. This part of the house seems to be a little bit drier than the others, probably due to that window being intact. But as you're kind of walking down that hallway, you hear the floorboards creaking, you hear the wind whistling from where the rest of your party is. Uh, you are pretty sure that you heard something just above, right about where you are. So you're guessing the second level. You heard something, a scuttle, uh, a scraping, uh, animal, person. You're not sure, but you heard something on the floorboards up above you.
That he's going to keep a hand on one of his hand axes, kind of have it basically poised and ready to pull.
Okay.
And kind of talk backwards towards everybody. Sounds like there's something upstairs.
I thought we were alone.
Samel, what are you doing in that room as Ryu's kind of like thinking about going upstairs? What are you doing in this room?
She'd probably just be looking around if there's anything that might be of use for the creation of alchemy or any of such. Any books? Like, I know it's a kitchen, but still looking for any ingredients that could be used. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I mean, I know the door is shut to the mold right now, but the fact that this is a kitchen and you saw the mold, you're actually maybe a little more hopeful that there might be something in this room. As toxic as that may be, sometimes that's the right ingredient for you. Can you give me an investigation as you're kind of trying to maybe open a cabinet or peek under a pile of those rags?
Sure. Guidance. When, by the way, for her guidance, she just takes a sip of a potion that she has on her belt.
Okay. And before we decide the results of that, Merketta puts on an interesting mechanical glove. She makes a gesture to activate the device, and it sparks slightly. Okay. Merketta, are you doing anything else of note with that window? Or are you kind of taking note by what Tobias said, or helping Cabby or Ryu?
Yes, this is in response to what Tobias said. That there's something upstairs. This looks to be some sort of weapon that Marketa has
Okay. All right. So Marketa, you spark up a glove. Samel, you pick up a pile of laundry in the center. Well, not in the center, but nearer to the sink there. And as you pick that up, something seems to jump out at you. I'm gonna need everybody to do that thing.
Oh no!
Everybody's
Oh,
favorite thing.
no.
I didn't even get a chance to submit splitting the party.
Oh, it's been done. Click your
Whatever.
character token and roll initiative, please, and thank you.
But I really wanted to split the party.
I thought it was pretty well split, is it? I thought it was well
We
split.
were all in 30 feet of each other. I was going to be like, we should go up the stairs, each go up one set and flank them.
This was about to enter into that room where that door is.
See, we could have been way more split.
Alrighty, so let me pop these guys. You unearthed some angry little, well, not so little, centipedes.
Oh, no.
It seems like they were making a home nestling nicely in the clothes and in the cabinets that are down there. Hold on one second. I don't know why my rolls are whispering, but that's okay. Alright, so, Samil, you pull up a pile of rags, and something kind of makes a weird, chompy, kind of mandible sound in your general direction. And from the piles of cloth to the north, right next to you, and kind of next to Ryu, these centipedes start milling out of the cloth and kind of coming at you. They don't like being disturbed by you.
Eep.
Eep indeed. Just a second here. They're going to try and bite you.
Oh, no.
All right, the one nearest to you is going to bite at you. Why it's all rolling in private, but I'll figure that out later.
Toggle to GM.
Let me just make sure your AC is 18, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That one misses. So the one in front of you misses. The one in front, just north of you here, is going to also try and bite you. That also misses. All right, then this one up here is going to move towards Ryu. All right.
What's that? 18 AC? Welcome to the front line.
It's tight quarters in here. All right, but these two are also going to take a bite at Ryu. 1, 2. Ryu, your AC is 13, correct?
Is
Okay. It meets, it beats. So, can you please make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
I can do that.
All right. Meets, it beats. So you're okay. But you do take a little bit of damage. Let's see. You're going to take a total of 6 points of damage because you got bit twice. But luckily, you warded off the poison that you know that these centipedes are known for injecting into their victims.
Gotcha.
Right. Next up is Merketta. You hear mandible chompings and maybe some screams from Samil.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right, Merketta is going to run around the corner, see some centipedes, and try to grab one with her gloved hand and definitely miss.
All right. Merketta, you rush in, try and grab one, but maybe it's just got too many legs for you. You're not quite sure. These things have. You're like trying to grab the middle, but is that the butt? I don't know. Is that the head? Which part's the. Maybe caught off guard. Anything else you want to do? Bonus action? Anything?
Negative.
All right. So Merketta rushes to your defense. Ryu, it's getting tight quarters in here. And you're surrounded. What are you doing?
I'm gonna shillelagh my weapon, and I am going to try and hit them with my quarterstaff, two-handed.
Okay. Which one are you going for?
The one, or they both bit me, I guess. I'll do the one at my 11 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that hits. And let's see. You have smushed that one with your club. Might need a little wipey wipe after that, but he is gonzo.
All right. And Ryu says, God damn, this is why I prefer the sea. And that is it for my turn.
All right. Samel, one is effectively squished, but you are like standing in a pile of them. What are you doing? You did?
Poking it.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, did I? I guess I forgot to push. Fuck. Yeah, she's running away, taking the attacks of opportunity, get behind her associates.
Okay. Yeah, they're gonna try and take another little chip chomp at ya. Although I'm probably just this one down here is gonna try and chomp ya. The other one is distracted by Ryu's effectively squashing its mate. So you'll get one attack of opportunity. And that misses. So you go, get me out of here, and run past Merketta. Anything else?
Yeah, she would like to turn, reach it into her belt and grab a red liquid potion and attempt to throw it at the one that tried to bite her. She's casting Firebolt.
Okay. Yeah, the one that tried to bite you is lit on fire. Now, it was crawling out of a pile of damp, moldy rags, so the fire is quickly snuffed out, and now there's this gross scent of burnt centipede, burnt, moldy rags in the air that you have created. And that centipede is gone. Anything else?
She would like to just kind of duck around the corner.
Okay. Yeah, sure thing. All right, Tobias, you hear screams from over there. You were previously distracted with the most relevant information of noises, but now there's stuff goings on. What are you doing?
Let's see. He's going to unsheath one of those hand axes. And let's see. Just going to take a few steps. Everything all right up there?
No, I got bit by a centipede over here, and I'm like in a decent amount of pain.
Right.
So chill about it.
Bit by a bug.
I mean, if it happens, it happens.
So he's just going to stalk up to there, and hand axes are not considered light weapons, are they?
I thought they were.
Yeah, I thought they were.
The SRD is not showing it as a light weapon. Or am I? Nope, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at the
It is
proficiency.
properties, it is a light weapon. Hand axes are
Yep,
light
okay.
weapons.
Range and thrown. All right.
Guessing that's what's going to be done.
Yep. So he's going to huck an axe at the one up there. The one that was just pointed to.
Walk away.
And where is the hand axe? There is a hand axe. Is it going to go through?
Jesus. Alrighty, yeah. You whip out one of your hand axes on your belt. Maybe tell Ryu to either slide a little bit or duck, because you are insanely precise with your hand axe. Like, could have cut a thread off of that centipede's back. And you did, effectively. You cut all his hairs so that he dies. And your hand axe thunks into the top of this, or the bottom of the stairs that lead up top. And you kill that guy. What else? Anything?
Am I able to bonus action offhand throw the other one?
Yes.
It's something I was looking up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
By the rules, yes.
Then yeah. Bonus action offhand the other one. We are going to have to take away 2 because you don't get the proficiency bonus if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
You don't get strength on your damage.
Thought you didn't get... okay.
No, attack is normal damages if we're going by
Damage is what's affected?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. I mean, you're expending both of your weapons anyway, so you'll have to go collect them if you want to do that again.
Yeah. So, throw. And that would end up being 5 damage if it hits.
Yeah, it looks like it would have been a really strong... it would have effectively done the same thing, but this one just kind of maybe tinks into the sink there and misses. Anything else for you, sir?
Nope. That's movement action, bonus action.
Alrighty. And you look to your side and see Samel over there. That brings us to Cabby. There's commotion. What's Cabby doing?
So Cabby's heard the exclamation, so he's kind of rushing forward. He reaches the point where like Tobias is, and then like tries to squeeze past, but he can't quite manage it. He runs out of steam. And he's like, "Oh, well, as you might know, the salt centipede has 1 segment per body. Only 1 pair of legs per body segment, whereas the marsh millipede has 2. I don't know that that's helpful for you, but good luck." That's it.
Okay. Are you helping somebody? Or are you just shouting?
He can't actually.
Okay.
He runs out of speed there. He can't see.
Okay. I mean, you can...
shouting centipede facts into the floor.
Just trying to be helpful.
You can move through friendly
Yeah,
units.
you can ask them to scoot over. I get that this is an old house. The hallways are very tight.
So if you move through, well, all right. So if you move through a friendly, it's supposed to take double movement. If we ignore that, I can go through. If not, I run out.
Yeah,
literally, like trying to push past him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Your butt steps are so. How do you fill this much hallway?
It's a big old house with lots of hallway. Yeah. It's pretty
His
tight
personality
quarters, I would say
takes
that's
up a
right.
lot of space.
Why is a big boy?
So Cabby like just gets up behind him. He's like, I think that one's dead, and he just like starts spotting the dead pieces all over the place. He's like, I'm not sure which one's alive, and that's where he just runs out. Things to do. Uh-oh, did I lose everybody?
No, you're
No.
good. I'm just okay. I was just reading the help action, and you have to be a lot
I
closer
have to be
actually
next to it,
be able
yeah.
to help. Okay, cool.
If I was that cool mastermind thief thing, then I could do it. But
I mean,
I'm not.
I just thought your shouting of facts was so darn helpful that maybe nope. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right, cool. Cabby, you want to help, but you just
I'm a
can't
tour.
get up
I'm just still in tour guide mode.
there. Darn cleaning up costs you the movement. All right. That brings us to round 2. Centipede looks around. There is only one of him left. You have squashed all of his friends, but he's really angry, and he takes a look at Ryu and sees maybe a gaping wound out of her, and decides that her friend needs a gaping also. My gosh. Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry, it goes up to Merketta and tries to bite Merketta. Your AC is 16, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That does hit. Can I get a con save, please?
Oh, I just remembered. Salt centipedes are also venomous.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
con save.
Yeah, your con save is more than good. So while it bites you and you do take 5 piercing damage, you just shake off the little dribbles of poison that come out of its mandibles. Shake that right off. And that is its turn. Merketta, retaliation mayhap.
Retaliation for sure. Merketta is going to spend half a second just retuning the device in her hand and try to grab the thing again. That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. How would you like to lightning damage this thing? What does that look like?
How big is this thing? Is it like maybe a foot long, or is it maybe like 6 inches long, or larger or smaller?
I'd say about a good foot long. Yeah, these are gross and giant and have been feasting on mold and other such things left over here for a while.
Cabby helpfully howls out. It's got 100 feet and they're in pairs, so it should be 50 feet long.
What? Never mind. She just kind of just like grabs it by the claws that sunk into her, and just zap, pull out.
Gross. All right, yeah, you effectively do that. Zap, pull out, maybe adding a little bit of sparks. The smell that Samel created with the firing of the other one. The smell is now reminiscent of that. And you guys have effectively destroyed all the centipedes in the area. Good job. Ta-da, we're dropping out of turn order.
You should probably banish the fights.
Yeah.
I'm going to just kind of turn sideways between the two and just kind of squeeze past them. Actually, I guess he could have just stepped over Marketa.
Probably. If you step directly over her, you might get an upwards punch, though. Be careful.
And goes and retrieves his axes.
Sorry, what was that?
Returning. Tobias is retrieving his hand axes.
Yeah, the one in the sink was just kind of laying there, and then you can pull the one out that you threw real good into that there wooden star.
Oh.
Well, since we're all here, should we open these doors? And he indicates the two kind of on either side of him.
Can I first have a chance at those creatures? They might actually have some useful venom in them. If that's what you say, could be quite useful in creating some potions, perhaps, maybe.
Oh, that wasn't in my guidebook, but I do know that the salt centipede can be venomous.
What toolkits does Samel have?
Currently on her, she has an herbalism kit that
Uh,
she is proficient with. She also has some glass vials and bottles.
okay. Well, two of the giant centipedes are burnt to a nice, smelly, gross, gloppy crisp. Um, but the other two, go ahead and give me a nature roll to see if there's any, if you can figure out how to get the poison out of them.
Sure. Guidance.
You wanted me to also do a nature roll?
I mean, you can. I would say that you could help being like, yeah, I feel like the poison, it comes from the thing that bit a hole in me. And but Samil doesn't really need your help and is thankful for it, but doesn't need it. Samil, while you're not quite sure how to get it out properly, i.e., without possibly stabbing yourself with it, also, um, you're pretty sure that if you just kind of chop off the head of the animal and stuff it in a bottle, you can figure that out later. Um, Maybe even just kind of wait long enough till it congeals into a goo that you could extract. So if you want, you can chop off the heads of them and figure it out at a later date.
Tobias, do you mind if I borrow your axe, possibly? One of them, at least for a little bit, please.
I still look at her and be like, I want it back clean.
Ugh.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah,
that.
he hands her the one that already got dirty from chopping into the other one.
Thank you. She'll go and chop off the head of the one
All right.
and shove it in a glass bottle. She'll use some of the damp rags to clean off his axe and hand it back to him. Thank you.
All
And he
right.
didn't want the head off of the second one.
Tobias, are you asking to take the second one? Would you like the head of the other one?
No, I'm asking Samel because they only took the head off of one of them, and there's two of them that are there.
I only have the one glass bottle. I have more vials, but I only have the one bottle to contain it.
All right. So as the very first loot that the players get, feel free to write down that you have the head of a dead giant centipede. Yay.
Already done in under the glass bottle.
Oh, well, this was to be the house of an alchemist. I'm sure he has bottles and vials about, and Cabby will open the door to this one, the west.
Alrighty.
East,
Wait. No,
west,
everything is how it looks. Don't do this, Casey. Everything is how it
west.
looks. North is north. North is up. So which you want
Which
to
one's
open?
port and which one's starboard?
You want to open this one?
Starboard is the one that my bird sits on.
Oh my God, no! You're not gonna mess me up. I did flashcards. Yes,
That one.
Connor. Yes, that's correct. You want to open this one? Okay.
That one.
All right. I wrote down one head of a giant centipede in a glass bottle in our guitar tab,
Boop,
also known as our loot sheet.
boop.
All right,
That is
Cabby.
so good. Oh, not this one. Then I'll move down and try the next one.
Okay, you're just popping open doors left and
Well,
right.
I'm looking for glasses and vials, and that looks like it used to be perhaps a the smallest church ever, or perhaps a table.
Yeah, so at one time a long table stood in the center of this room, but now it lies broken on the floor. Broken chair sits against the wall. There's a heap of broken dishes in the corner. Looks like it was a dining room. No glass bottles to be found. Going for the other door?
Let's try that.
Okay. You open up this one. And this one. Two stuffed armchairs stand near a fireplace, the chimney of which is much too small to climb up. Covers of both its chairs are torn, stuffing has been pulled out, but it seems like the wooden frames are still intact. A broken table lies to the north, and a bookshelf that doesn't seem to contain much of anything. Um, the fireplace looks like it hasn't been used in a number of years. Uh, yeah.
Oh, well, this is a bit disappointing. Samel, you follow the alchemist's arts, or close enough. If you were to design a building to have such a laboratory for yourself, where would you put it, and why?
Um, I would at my family shop, our where we did most of the potion creations we had in the basement because the ingredients were able to be preserved longer in the cooler climate and more temperature controlled area.
Oh, well then we should likely go to the basement.
Um, we did see stairs back there, but the mold is quite dangerous when inhaled. Might not be a problem for you, but the rest of us do need to breathe.
Oh, that is true. I don't breathe. I am still slightly affected by poison, though. But perhaps I could clear the moss away.
If you do that, I do have some empty vials. If you could take a sample for me.
Oh, of course. And he snaps his fingers, and his little mop makes its way around, and he gets the vial, hands the vial to the invisible servant. The unseen servant goes and tries to cram some moss in the vial, and then sets to sweeping for whatever time that'll take.
Yeah. So, Cabby, you go up there with your unseen servant, aka also a broom. Um, you successfully take one of the vials and you stuff some mold in a vial. More fantastic loot for the party. And then you set about to trying to sweep up the mold, with your unseen servant. The As the unseen servant gets in there, uh, and starts sweeping, you notice quickly that part of the floor is just kind of pulling up as the mold is getting swept. And every time that the broom moves a little bit, the mold and dust and wood floor particle bits just start kicking up into the air and creating this big storm. You start to see as the room quickly fills with these particles, and the smell is just unbearable as this room quickly fills. You used to be able to see through the window or to the window, and now you kind of can't. It's just getting cloudy and smells quite toxic in here. You seem to be kicking up a lot of mold.
Well, as my mentor once said, if one mop isn't enough, add more mops and music. But perhaps something else. And he'll call the servant back out and close the door. And I think we'll need to let that settle for a bit. And I also think if we were to go in there, we might descend rather quickly. Perhaps another set of stairs?
Well, there's another set of stairs to my left, but do I know that they're leading upstairs?
Um, yeah, the stairs next to you, Ryu, are leading upstairs. Um, and whoever wants to can roll me on the topic of alchemy and where hiding spots would be for an alchemist. Um, Whoever wants to can roll an Arcana or a History check. Um, and kind of combine your knowledge with what Hannah and Man in the Bar were telling you.
Guidance.
All right. You guys are all kind of thinking on it for a second. Ryu, you're like, there's stairs upstairs. Um, they go up.
Yep.
Samil, you're trying to think about it, and you're maybe kind of a little distracted because you're so excited about getting all these samples. But Merketta's got you. Merketta, you while you didn't really put any importance on the tales that the old man was telling you, um, you did notice between him and Hannah there was consistencies in the story, and the alchemist that they talked about was a curmudgeon. He was very wary of the town, of other people, of things like that. And you know that um, people with magics, people capable of great magic things, um, if they're known where they exist, they probably keep their stuff pretty well hidden, maybe even hidden in plain sight. You remember the talk of the library, and you remember that the old man said that there were books in a number of rooms, bookshelves in a number of rooms, and that you remember the old man talking about how every time the alchemist was rumored to come to town, he would be looking for items to add to his collection, kind of like what Samel's doing here, looking for ingredients or knowledge to gain. So you put two and two together that there's probably nooks and crannies all over this house, or there were at one point.
All right, I would like to go into the room that I'm next to with the two chairs and what looks to be a fireplace or a piano.
Yes. So, yeah, sorry. There's pianos in every room. No, these... Wrong tool. These, whenever you see them, are fireplaces. There's a number of them in here. It was a drafty old-ass house. And yeah, so you go into the room, you go up to the fireplace. It's a stone. It's got a stone mantle above it. Give me an investigation.
Guidance. Here, have a sip of this. It'll help.
Why do you keep saying that?
That's how she sold all those potions. Good lord. All right. Yes. So, a couple of things happen. As you kind of start looking at the fireplace, you're at a great vantage point to, look inside the fireplace, look up the chimney, kind of looking at the stonework and your knowledge of how things are built. You're like, this seems to have too many stones. There's something extra here. And you notice that there are a couple stones on the mantle of the fireplace that seem to be a different shade than the others, popping out a little bit than the others. And you go to reach up and grab one, kind of try and wiggle it out a little bit. And you find yourself agitating something nearby. You hear click, 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 and you turn around and you suddenly notice that there are a lot of spider webs in this room that maybe you didn't notice in the corners before.
Oh.
And we're going to need to do a thing.
Oh.
Why is it open this door?
Yeah? Yeah, you can have opened that door. Hold up. We're still rolling initiative, but yes, you can open that door.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyone install a secret door that activates spiders?
I cast spiders.
Sorry, clicking things. Hold, please.
Loading. Please wait.
Your call is very
Loading.
important to us.
Loading. All right.
Does anyone else hear a clicking noise?
All right.
Voldemort, Voldemort. Do, 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 do.
Please wait. Summoning additional spiders.
All right, spiders have been summoned. Let's real quick resolve Tobias. As Merketta is walking into that room, you turn the door on what looks to be a large living room of sorts. You see you see a large fireplace in the center of the room and a clump of what look to be tiny red mushrooms kind of growing out from it and up on the mantle of the room. And that's really all you see in the room itself. You note a bit of mold by the broken window towards the other side of the room. Let's do this real quick. I know this is about time for us to stop. Do you want to do this combat right when we get back? Like, next week? Or do you want to finish it out now?
No, we can leave a cliffhanger to see whether or not Marketa gets murked by spiders.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So we'll leave it on the cliffhanger of Merketta and spiders and possibly loot that she found? Question mark. Will Samel grab more mushrooms and other such things? Will Ryu heal herself magically? Find out next week on The Haunting on Old Coast Road. Okay. Bye, stream.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.